Welcome to JC NERR and How We Got Here, the show where you get an inside look into the stories and experiences that brought each of our staff here to the reserve. So we'd like to give a special thank you to our guest today, Lauren Hinger. She is actually the newest staff member here at the reserve and has come aboard as our volunteer coordinator just last month. So this is going to be really unique, and we just want to say thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Of course. Happy to be here.
All right. Let's go back all the way to the beginning. When did you know that you were passionate about science and about nature and the environment? Was it something in school? Was it something in your personal life?
So when I was little, I was always the kid who asked a bunch of questions. So I would never stop talking. And my dad is a chemical engineer, so he was like the end-all be-all, he knew everything kind of guy. So growing up, we always did like science experiments. Whenever I was like, why is the sky blue? He always had, the answer. And if he would always manage to like bring it down to my level too. So it was never like he was speaking with too much terminology or anything. So I always understood what was going on. So not only did I use that to like learn more about science myself, but I could also like teach my friends and stuff. So yeah.
And it seems like since your dad was like that, it just kind of got passed down to you, which
absolutely.
Is really cool.
And it's funny because I'm the only other child in my family that's scientific. The rest are all like business. It's funny.
Your dad's probably real happy. Like, I've got one that carried on the family trait.
We're the ones who sit in the room talking about physics, and my mom is like, "Can you guys stop? Like, it's been 2 hours." It's fine.
So going into school, growing up having all of this know-how from your dad and like having this really curious just intellect about you, did you have any cool experiences or any field trips you remember from growing up in school? Like, did you have any cool opportunities that you had?
Well, I had this one biology teacher named Miss Lambie AC, and she was just amazing. She was basically my intro to biology aside from my dad. She always like made science fun, so like we'd be learning hydrolysis or something, and she'd always like make a joke about it and just make it so that it was more interactive and it wasn't just, okay, this is another formula that you need to know, or you just need to know this process for the exam. Like, it actually applied to your life and it was important. So,
and I think that's something that's so important. It's really important. I know growing up, you could see like the word problems for math. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily really apply. It's the way of trying to apply it to real life. Mm-hmm. But when you actually make that connection, that's when not only you remember it, but you understand it, you appreciate it more. So that's awesome that you had the teacher that was able to kind of foster that, and I'm sure it had an impact on all of our students too.
Oh, absolutely.
So did you grow up anywhere that was within the reserve or somewhere outside?
I grew up in Monroe Township, which is like an hour and a half from the reserve. It was more forest based though. Like, I've never been near an estuary before in my life. We just purchased property down here, so this is my first exposure to the area. So it's very different, but it's very cool. Yeah.
What was kind of the most surprising to you about the estuarine environment?
I honestly knew nothing about estuaries. I took an AP environmental science course in college, or not in college, in high school. And it was just like, oh, an estuary is just this one ecosystem that I'm never going to come into contact with. Like, I never thought that I'd actually live or work for an estuary. It was just like this one small little thing that, oh, well, I mean, it's on the exam, so I'm going to learn about it, but...
Surprise!
Yeah,
you'd be like working right in it, which is awesome. I actually didn't know much about estuaries growing up either. Mm-hmm. I didn't really start to learn more until I was in college, and you don't realize, and I think a lot of members of the public don't realize as well, is how integral the estuary is to literally everything. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool, and it's a really unique experience to be able to work in that environment.
Absolutely.
I think we're really lucky to be able to do that. So that was a little bit about like elementary and high school. So college. Mm-hmm. You recently graduated, right?
Yeah, I graduated August 2019.
So you're like fresh, brand new, out of college.
Just got out.
Nice, eager, bright-eyed. That's incredible. So what school did you go to?
I went to Rutgers. I studied biological sciences at SEBS. And I also had a minor in philosophy. Fun fact.
So where did that come from?
Well, I liked looking at the abstract as well as like the detail-oriented things, which again, I got from my dad. So I like on a whim took a philosophy course because my dad said that he took one, he enjoyed it. And then I was just like, oh my God, Descartes. Oh my God, Socrates. And I just like fell in love with thinking outside the box. And I think honestly that helps science a lot too. I took this course in college called parasite ecology. So it was
that sounds incredible.
It was amazing. So it was like the study of parasites, but it was also like, well, how did parasites come to be? And it was just like this whole thought-based process that was then later proven by science. So it was just like this broad idea that was somehow like tied down and oriented based on data. So.
And honestly, I think that makes you more of a well-rounded, not just person, but a well-rounded scientist. I know with getting a chance to chat with everybody, that everybody does have, or at least most have, these different kind of cool little unique experiences or things that they've studied that are not necessarily in the realm of science, but it winds up like making you, because I can guarantee you that some way along your journey with J Senior, you will definitely utilize some of that.
Yeah.
Like it's guaranteed. Mm-hmm. And especially with the thinking outside of the box, that's incredibly important, especially with your position, trying to think of creative ways to get more volunteers, to keep them engaged. Yeah. So that I think is incredible that you were able to have the opportunity, and it's interesting to you as well. Mm-hmm. Now, why did you choose Rutgers?
Well, originally I went to Drew University.
Where's that?
It's in North Jersey. It's like right next to Fairleigh Dickinson. It's a very small school. There's 1,500 kids on campus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just too small and it was too cliquey, and I just felt like I wanted something better for myself. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to apply to Rutgers. It's the New Jersey school on a whim, whatever. I applied, got in, and was like, okay, I'm done, Drew, bye. Packed my bags and I went to Rutgers. I definitely went for, because I knew it was a great school. I mean, without a doubt, it's like one of the top science program schools. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to get a science degree, this is the place to do it. So.
Did you start out at Drew with a science major?
Actually, I originally was going for psychology because I have like that weird I need to help everyone concept about me. So I was like, yeah, that means psychology, right? And then I was like, no, Lauren, you can still help people and make contributions to society without being a psychology major.
Yeah.
So I took a bio course and then I was like, nope, this is it. And I always loved science, so why I didn't think to begin with, hey, I should maybe, go for science, I don't know.
But you know what? Something that you had, say, learned in any of those psychology courses, like it's gonna come back. Like it's never a waste. There should never be any kind of a regret. Yeah. But I mean, that actually makes, just knowing that makes your position like perfect for you. You get to work with our volunteers one-on-one, making sure they feel included, making sure that they're okay. I mean, I know you had just started your office hours that you have here, which is, I don't know if our previous volunteer coordinator did, but it's such an incredible idea just to make sure that our volunteers feel integrated. They feel a part of our family. Absolutely. because they are. Mm-hmm. We might not have events every week that we need volunteers for, but we always want to make sure that they still feel connected with us. Absolutely. So that's really cool. What was your either favorite course or maybe an internship or some part of Rutgers? Like what was your favorite either moment or course?
Definitely back to parasitology. I love parasites. Like, I'm a total geek. I can talk to you about them for hours. Like, I don't know. Parasites are such small things that are just so impactful on not only, like, human life, but also, like, wildlife. Like, in parasite ecology, we were in the field doing collections and stuff, and we'd be dissecting fish, and, like, the things you'd find were amazing. We'd find nematodes in fish, we'd find tapeworms, you name it, we found it. It was crazy.
Now, for those of us or for some of the listeners who may not know, do you have any previous experience with J Senior?
I was actually a volunteer here over the summer. It was my last requirement for graduation, was to work in the field. And I contacted J Senior because we just, as I was talking about before, we just bought a house down here. And I was like, you know what? It's literally 9 minutes from my house. There's no way it would work. It'd be too perfect, too convenient. And then I got a call from Rose Petrarca, and she was like, hey, come in and we'll talk. And then I volunteered here all summer. I did Creature Feature, which is working with the kids over the summer and teaching them different topics in biology. And then I was also working with the critter cameras on the Grosso Marsh Trail, so that was fun. saw a lot of cute pictures of deer. I know that I've sent you some.
Yes.
And I know they will be posted later at some point.
What was your favorite experience over the summer working? Like, do you have any special stories or anything that happened that was like your favorite experience working here?
I loved the entire Creature Feature program so much. The kids were absolutely amazing. They had the best questions, things that like I, even after having a science degree, would just like never think to ask. Mm-hmm. They were just always, well, why is this the way it is? And they would always ask, you know, how does that work? What about this? They were just so integrative, and they, like I was saying, thought outside the box. It was amazing.
and I really do appreciate that. I've experienced working in environmental education as well, and it's incredible that I think when you're so young, you don't have any kind of a filter. You don't have any preconceived notions. You have no filter. It pops into your head. It comes out of your mouth.
Absolutely.
You think about it and you ask it. There's no, you're not worried about asking a stupid question. Just everything, because everything's so new. Yeah. You just want to know everything. And I think, we stray away from that a little bit as we grow into adults. But I think especially in the science field, we still get to do that every day. Yeah. We still get to think, well, this might be a stupid question, or this might be thinking way too far outside the box, but let me apply this and see what we learn from it. And like I said, I think we're really grateful to be able to still be in that world. Because I know I'm a big kid myself. I refuse to ever grow up. And I think that is such a great and a really important trait to kind of hold on to that curiosity. And that's great that you were able to experience that with the kids here.
Scientific growth in general, just asking questions. So we need that. We need to be those little kids that are sitting in the dirt like, well, why is this bug here? And
nothing will ever move forward unless you do ask the questions. Mm-hmm. That is what propels the growth.
Absolutely.
When you think that most fundamentally about it, like that is what's going to make things happen. So that's all about everything in the past. Now you're here. What, coming into this, do you have any kind of volunteer coordinator experience or working with volunteers?
The only work with the volunteers that I've had before was just my experience over the summer, but I've never been in a leadership position before, so it was honestly terrifying when I first started, but I know the whole group. I know most of the volunteers, and if I don't know them yet, I am in the process of getting to know them with office hours and meeting them at the different events that we have. And so it was definitely a change for me coming as a baby out of college straight into a coordinator position. But
so tell us a little bit about what your role is here, because it seems something simple saying volunteer coordinator, but like what really goes into that?
So it's a lot of organizing the volunteers, trying to make a connection with them, obviously. Making them feel part of our family. That is like my ultimate goal, the ultimate dream with the position, is to have an integrative community with the volunteers, because I don't just want to be the person that they go to when they want hours. You know, I want to be the person that they can just come to if they have any questions, or like if they need to talk to somebody about something, you know. I think it's important that we have like a door open policy and just be open with each other.
I love that you have this approach that you want to make it more than that. You want to make it a rewarding experience for them, that they're getting something out of it. It's benefiting them. And they do feel part of it, because we literally would not be what we are without them.
100%.
So it's great that you have that you're going about it that way, and you really want people to feel included. You want people to be able to come to you. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking right now at a basket of candy that you would put out for your volunteers to come in for your office hours. Yes. Like, it's those little things that really can make it have an impact to people. So that not only, I mean, it would help if we had some more volunteers, and growing the volunteer community is obviously one thing we want to do, but just making it worth it. Like, we want to have people have great memories volunteering here. We want to make it more than just putting in hours.
Yeah. Like, us staff, we're family, but our volunteers are our family too, so.
Oh, 100%.
That hand is 100% extended.
Oh, yes. Now, so you said that one of your goals is to make the integration. Now, in terms of growing the program itself, do you have any ideas or anything that you've been brainstorming to try to implement or work on for the future?
We're actually working on a new project for our trail. We're making trail stewards, so it's going to be people who take care of our trail. They're going to be looking at the critter camera photos and logging all that data. We also have sound boxes out there for the birds, and they're going to be capturing that information and uploading it. So there's a lot of things coming.
Well, we won't give everything away,
Yes.
but that's a little bit of a sneak peek. I know, and everybody who's listening, keep your eyes and ears peeled and open for a upcoming contest coming up in the spring. That's all I'm gonna say. But myself and Lauren are working on an upcoming project, so keep your eyes open for that because it's going to be really, really cool.
It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
And I think this kind of brings me to kind of my final point. Where do you see this position taking you? Maybe in a career-wise, or maybe like personal growth? Do you have any thoughts on that?
My dream is to go to grad school and to eventually get a PhD, more so on the microbiology side of things, but this is definitely, a step on my way to my huge dream. I'm always that person that has like a million things that they want to do, and like I'm just slowly trying to check things off one box at a time.
Hey, but it's better to have all of that instead of just one.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. Have you started looking into any grad schools yet?
Rutgers.
Okay.
Of course. Gotta stick with us alum things.
But I mean, hey, what's actually could be great is if, say you do that, you'd be working over at the field station.
Right? Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you'd still, if that was, I mean, you could maybe even do both.
Yeah.
Grad school and then be here. You would literally be completely immersed. we would grab a hold of you and never let go. Thank you so much again for talking with us. This is, like I said, it's such a unique experience to talk with someone who's literally fresh out of college, fresh at the very start of their career. Like, you're building that foundation now, which I know, at least I hope that a lot of our listeners are starting to think about that. Maybe they're in high school and they're starting to think about where they want to go for college, or they just graduated and they're trying to find their way. So thank you so much for chatting with us, and we can't wait to hear everything that you have upcoming for our volunteers.
Thank you for having me.